The battle for who governs Lagos State for the next 4 years is raging. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is seeking re-election for a second term, but he is being challenged by candidates of the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party, Olajide, Adeniran, and Gbadebo, Rhodes-Vivour. All three candidates have been campaigning and canvassing for votes, and all is set for an epic battle on Saturday. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says he's confident of victory at the poll. Joining us now is foremost documentary photographer Adeniran. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
And also in the studio is columnist and the Duke of Shomolu, Lagos State, Joseph Edgar.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You have been doing a lot of photographic recording of this. Now, how will you relate this to a stewardship?
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
And good morning, Nigerians and the rest of the world. For me, as a documentary photographer, evidence is what I look at. And when you look at the administration of Mr. Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Sanwo-Olu,
I never heard that one before.
Yeah, yes. You will find out that, to the best of my knowledge, is the best of the governor we've had so far since May 1967. Why am I saying this? Because when you look at what he has been able to achieve, most importantly, for the first time in the history of Sub-Saharan Africa, in 2.5 years, because we have to take COVID out of, there was a lockdown throughout the world. The red line, which is, I sent in some pictures. I don't know whether the pictures is on set now or not. You'll be able to see that the red line will be able to take 500,000, passengers in an hour, right? So when you're talking about, that there is a conversation going on now that you have Agbero here, there. There is a systemic way of doing things. Once the red line kicks in, because that's why I'm canvassing for Mr. Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, that he should be given, he should be re-elected so that he can complete what he has started. Red line is going to kick off before May. I think they are waiting on NRC to give them the concession so they can go ahead. When you look at the red line, you look at the blue line. For the first time, these are federal government projects across the globe. There is no way sub-national get involved in rail transportation.
Yeah, true.
When you look at that, that is just transportation alone. And when you look at 15 jetties already built, and you look at the bus transportation as well. Unfortunately, we have the answers, and people do not just want to quantify what happened during the Hensas riots. Some of those buses were brand new buses,
yes,
were burnt down.
You see some of them around town, like places like Oyigbo.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you go to Oyigbo and you see the damage in Oyigbo, but unfortunately, and that is where photography comes in for me. I love to document things, and many thanks to this young man, Ademola Olaniran, who has been able to go around the state and get all these things covered. And when people now see what he has been able to do in terms of pictorials, you give him credit to say, oh, this guy actually deserve a second term. Not just that alone. If you put him vis-a-vis with the two main other contenders, i.e., I don't even know what to call him, either Patrick, either Chinedu, or Gbadebo, Vivour, I don't know what to call him. And you don't even see his deputy. You only see someone's picture without the deputy. And when you look at the deputy of Mr. Governor, Dr. Kadiri Obafemi Hamzat, oh, please. And you look at Olajide Adeniran of the PDP and his deputy, Funke Akindele. Just compare the two of them together. If things were working normally, if things are sane in Nigeria at the moment, I would say Mr. Governor have no competitor. Unfortunately, a lot of people are ruled by emotions, not by its integrity, not with what they've seen. And again, what he has been able to achieve in terms of health, when you look at COVID, I'm sure if not for him, the three of us would not be seated today. We might probably be under 6 feet.
Yeah,
He was the president of Nigeria during COVID. He was the only known face everybody see every day as the incident commander. COVID came into Lagos, and without Lagos coming on board to do what they have to do, we might have been India or what happened in New York or in London.
Or China.
And up to today, China has not even recovered. So for me, Babajide Sanwo-Olu deserves to be re-elected. And with all the pictures I've taken, and that is why I have this book with me, Selibu, Mr. Selibu, because the guy is just too brilliant in everything he does, and very humane, very humble, highly spiritual, and he has no grain of bitterness in him. All he does is just get the job done for the greater good of people.
Why is it that there is any talk about a shockwave from the last presidential election?
Okay, good morning. Let me say this very quickly, that it's a huge privilege to finally get to meet you. I used to read as a secondary school child.
Thank you.
And I've been in the other camp, opposing almost everything you have written in the last 2 years.
That's not new.
Okay, so 6 months ago, I wrote a column. I wrote an essay. And because I'm a political scientist, I have a master's degree in political science, and I'm also an investment banker. So I wrote an essay, and I said very clearly in that essay that win or lose for APC at the presidential level, that the governorship side of it in Lagos, will shake. I don't think I was taken seriously, and that's what we're seeing here right now. And that's why I'm standing with Mr. Governor, because I feel very strongly that Mr. Governor is about to be bullied, due to no fault of his. My colleague has mentioned so many laudable projects that the governor has done. So we are seeing a lot of push on the left-hand side, if I may call it that are not really based on...
Go ahead.
Okay, they are not really based on any empirical evidences of lack of performance on the part of Mr. Governor, And at my age, I'm 54 years old, I would be the last person to be allowed, to allow myself to be dragged by the nose based on emotions and not what's on ground in Lagos, justifies a second-term push by Mr. Governor. That's why we're standing by him.
Well, some people have said he has done all of these good things. Why is there an issue? Because it has been recorded many times in political history. You're a political scientist that sometimes performance is not sufficient. That you have to play both the politics of governance and the politics of election. The politics of governance, you can win and lose. The politics of election, you can win and lose. So, but the politics of governance is different from the politics of election. And if you don't do one well, you will lose it. You can do well as a governor and lose the politics of governance. And do well as a candidate. But you'll be good as candidate, but you may not be good enough for election. It doesn't mean that you didn't do well. In the case of in the United States, Clinton was supposed to have brought the greatest economic expansion in American history. Yet, when it was time for election, the people said, it is not about how you perform, it's about character. And they brought just the story of Lewinsky to rubbish everything he did. When the world was in collapse in the Second World War, in England, Winston Churchill was the hero. But once the war was over, they said, we don't want a warmonger. They they reframed the story, and it became a different thing altogether. So it's always important. Now, in Lagos, the narrative now is now about Labour Party, that look, they want the presidential so they can win the governorship. So it's not about, a few people are talking about train, people are talking about all the things you have recorded, very telling things now. So you have to now tell us, how do you now take charge of that narrative?
What happened is this: if you don't advertise your illness, you will never find a cure for it.
Yes.
That is the greatest undoing of Mr. Governor, of everything he has been able to achieve in the last 2.5 years. There is this gap of communication with the people. I will give you a very good example. Lagos they don't have gold, silver, or oil. What they have in Lagos is land, and the land is so small, which is premium. And for the first time in the history of Lagos since 1967, he has just done something now that is called LAGIS, Lagos State Geographical Information System,
yes,
whereby people do not have to go to Alausa to go through the rigor of going back and forth, the traffic and knowing someone or not knowing someone. You can just go on your computer, sitting at home, to look at land registry to know whether the land has been encumbered. I mean, we know the stories in Lagos where 100 people can be sold a land to, or the owner of the land have used the land as a collateral with the bank or things like that. So what I'm trying to say is there is this miscommunication along the line. And being a gentleman that he is, he believes in just work, 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 work. But while you are working, you have to let people know what you are doing. I mean, for example,
is it that people don't know? Is it that people don't know? It's not that people don't know.
A lot of people do not know. But again, another thing is this: Labour Party is no different from President Muhammadu Buhari before 2015. So there is this emotional attachment by my brothers from another part of the country to say, oh, it is our turn, and Labour Party is getting a bulk vote from a particular region. Same thing President Muhammadu Buhari did in 2003, 2007, and 2011, before he aligned with the Southwest, before Asiwaju came in. President-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu came in. You know, that's the same emotional things that I'm seeing in Labour Party now. It's just a bandwagon effect that you cannot, because most of the people that voted, like my colleague Duke said, most of the people that voted in the presidential election, or some, I would let me use the word most, some of the people that voted in the presidential election for Labour Party are certainly going to vote for the governor. Why? This is not a Muslim ticket. Yeah. This is not a presidential. This is a local.
Yeah. So I was just trying to say that. I was just trying to say that it is not that people don't know about the trains, or people don't know about all the roads he has done, all the things he has done with the rice mill, the housing projects. It's not as if they don't know of all of it. They say that Oscar Wilde, who said that man is a sentimental creature, not a rational creature. So all those things are good. That's why I was talking about the idea that politics of governance and politics of election, and that you have to frame everything at the right time to frame it. But what's happened in the last week, there are 2 weeks with that election, tend to have cast a shadow on whether you've done train or not. Now the story is now changed. I think we are going to go on a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll take it from there. Welcome back. Now, Duke, I want you to now look at the last presidential election, and look at this governorship election. What do you anticipate in terms of the factors? In the presidential election here in Lagos, they said one of the factors was the factor of the churches, you know, who were up in arms against Muslim tickets. Although some people say some of those churches are actually using the Muslim ticket as a smoke screen or their own rebellion against some of the privileges they enjoyed under the Jonathan administration, some of the waivers they enjoyed and so on that they are not getting now. So they're using Muslim ticket as a launching pad for revenge, which is actually not Christian. But But that itself is one factor. The church banding together, and then the ethnic configuration of those from the southeast also banded together, and so on. Now, and of course, some people in the south too did that. And now, looking at the governorship elections, what are the factors that you think could play on Saturday?
Okay, thank you so much. I think very clearly that this is a unique opportunity for Lagos and Lagosians. You get? Because we need to answer this question once and for all. Who is a Lagosian? You get? So every election cycle, you get? That question gets thrown up, do you understand? And then we hide it under the rug and we move. So we've been kind of lucky to have a structure in Lagos that has delivered the governorship every time since 1999. So that's why we're not able to face this question. But today now, things are totally different. Do you understand? That question must be answered by all and sundry. That's why I'm sitting down here. This is beyond Sanwo-Olu. This is beyond APC. You get, this is a question that everybody who calls themselves a Lagosian has to answer. Who is a Lagosian? Now, in trying to get that answer, you can come at it politically, you can come at it historically, you can come at it religiously, you can come at it socially, you can come at it wherever. Do you get me now? And at the end of the day, if we are very truthful to ourselves in getting the answer to that question, then we just might find peace in Lagos. So the elections of the presidential elections, we saw all of that play out. Some of this is you have said, do you get, and so many other things that has not been said that's played out. And you can see it in the results that came out. You know, honest God truth is that 70%, 80% verifiable of those who voted for Labour in Lagos were not from the southeast. Honest God truth. They were principally people of Yoruba ethnic stock. Whether they are real Lagosians, whether they are Ijebu people, whether they are Ekiti people, and that's in the first instance. Now, the other instance, there are those who also voted for the other party from within the party in control of Lagos who were disenfranchised. And then the religious part and all of that. Now, coming towards next week Saturday, the question I think Mr. Governor has tried to answer credibly well is that question, who is a Lagosian? In trying to answer that question, he has reached out to every pocket, every structure, every grouping that make up this great state in trying to get that answer before we get to Saturday. I believe very strongly that Mr. Governor and his team have done very well in...
How do you get, you're making a claim that you need the real statistical backup. You said 70% of those who voted against the presidential candidate, against Asiwaju, as you are saying, are Yorubas.
70% of those who voted for Labour Party.
For Labour Party,
yes,
are Yorubas.
Were Yorubas.
Where's the evidence?
Am I supposed to give evidence on here?
No, I mean, you have to be able to defend your claim.
Okay, so how you said that people from Southeast voted for, how do you defend?
They claim it. They claim it.
No, but the figures
they claim it. They claim it. They are not apologetic about it. They claim it in public.
The figures don't reflect it.
Well, they claim it. In fact, they not only claim it, they swagger about it.
No, but
yes,
you see, that's what he was talking about, the emotional part of it here.
Yes.
So there's a lot of hot air. There's a lot of emotions. People say all sorts. Do you understand?
Why do you think if you said no, let's just move to the next one. If you said 17% of them are Yorubas, why?
What makes up population of Lagos?
No, why?
Why how?
Why did they? Do you know why they voted for Labour?
But I've just said so now. So that you can divide them to different groupings.
If I can come inside.
Let me finish. I'll come to you.
Let me answer it. If you can break, because they can be found in different clusters. You get, so there are those who say, oh, we are indigenous Lagos, we never had the opportunity to rule. There are those who say, oh, I belong to the ruling party, but I've not really benefited anything. There are those who say, oh, I live in a certain part of Lagos, I need to protect my investments. You get, so there are different kinds of clusters in that grouping. But see, at the end of the day, what brings everybody together What brought everybody together on Saturday was our bid, and what to bring all of us together this Saturday is the need for us to answer that question. Who is a Lagosian?
So what do you say?
If I start with what Duke just said, who is a Lagosian? Unfortunately, we have a country but not a nation. That is what is still making us to look at. I'm from the southeast, I'm from the south-south, or I'm from the southwest, or whatever. Those Yorubas that voted against APC or voted for Labour can be categorized into three sections. One, the Yorubas that supported the Vice President, His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo, have not recovered from the loss. Number one. Number two, the Lagosians that believe they are indigenous Lagosians, they've not been opportuned to govern the state. And number three is the Muslim ticket, to say, oh, how could Muslim? And my question to those who, I have very close friends, family members that says, oh, Muslim. The next question is, what have you benefited as a person from Professor Yemi Osinbajo being a Christian vice president for the past 8 years? What have you benefited personally? And for me, and the reason why I love Asiwaju so much is Nigeria is at a crossroad at the moment, and we need someone that can take a drastic decision without looking at anybody's eyes. For him to say, I want to go for a Muslim competent person, someone that I believe will be able to deliver irrespective of your religion. Please, this is someone that is married to a pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. They sleep on the same bed, they see each other every day. His children are virtually Christians. And you are still coming up with sentimental issues. It's just emotions. But luckily, this gubernatorial election is going to be different because the Muslim ticket is not there anymore. You can't say Vivour is different from Sanwo-Olu because he's an indigenous Lagosian as well. Neither will you say there was a primary in Lagos State. For the first time in the history of APC gubernatorial primaries in Lagos State since 2007, there was no controversy this time around. And I saw a video of former governor of Osun State, Honorable Minister Ogbeni Ralph Aregbesola, singing and dancing. And that is part of what happened at Alimosho. That was part of what happened as well. 4 factors, actually, because within APC itself, there are several factions that did not come out to vote. And naturally, I tend to believe what Duke said, that the greater numbers of people that voted for Labour Party are Yorubas. Because when you look at the demography, there is no way on earth the Southeasterners are more than Lagosians. So for me, we shouldn't be emotional in anything we do, either politics, either business. We just have to be practical because there are consequences for anything decision we take in life. And like Yoruba people will say, Ibere jale yan ma mo, iyan ki mo bi to ma pari si.
Well, what does it mean that the Yorubas, you say the Ijebus, the Ondos, they are Ijebus, they are Ondos, they are Egbas, and all of them in Lagos, Ekitis, who did that.
Yes.
But when you went to Ogun State, Asiwaju won handily. When you went to Oyo, he won handily.
Okay.
He won handily, apart from Elisha, apart from Osun, where he lost. Not really.
The Aregbesola factor too.
Yeah, but he lost there. But in the Yoruba land, he won massively. What is the Lagos Yoruba that is different from the other Yoruba?
My lord, with all due respect, Lagos issue is totally different from all of that. Lagos issue is totally different from all of that. Lagos is unique. Lagos is totally different. Lagos is cosmopolitan. Lagos has unique and different challenges.
So is Ibadan. Ibadan is cosmopolitan.
But it's not cosmopolitan.
It's cosmopolitan, please. It's cosmopolitan.
Ibadan is not as cosmopolitan as
Lagos. Because in degrees, don't say it's not cosmopolitan.
Now, so the issues, you see my brother, my lord, don't let me call you my brother.
I'm not your lord.
You're my boy. You see, the problem.
We have but one Lord, Jesus Christ. We have one God, the Father, and one Lord, Jesus Christ.
Okay, my boy. The problem, why we find ourselves where we are today, where the governor has to go and lick ice cream to get people to look at him, is...
But he has been licking ice cream before in public. Why are people making this issue of licking ice cream an issue?
It's because those who have had power in Lagos have been playing the ostrich game. That's honest God truth. When we talk like this without understanding that there are tremors on the ground, do you get? That's what's happening to us, and now begin to look at it, wants to explode on our face. What Governor Sanwo-Olu is facing today is him trying to push back a tsunami. It's a Herculean task. And why it has now gotten to this point is because those who control Lagos for the past 24 years have turned a blind side to these tremors on the ground. And that's something you're doing here now by asking me, by telling me that as what you won in Southwest, what is in Lagos. Yesterday, I am a strong believer of Sanwo-Olu as a person, not the structure that he belongs to. I've been running as a lone person. Yesterday, because I wrote on my column something not too commented on, I was kicked out of a re-elect Sanwo-Olu group. So you see that inability, that unwillingness to listen to the other side is what put us where we are today.
Well, if you belong to the group, then you should belong to the group.
No.
Can't two work together except they agree?
That does not mean that we cannot take into consideration every facet of what happens in Lagos. Are you getting me now?
Yeah.
Mr. Sanwo-Olu, as far as I'm concerned, of the three people who are the major people, is the best, most experienced, do you get me now? Most passionate and most relatable of these three major contenders. Now, it's a different thing if Labour Party had brought a much more, and that's me don't want to say anything about the other contestants, do you get me now? A much more experienced, because Lagos is not a joke. Lagos cannot be a joke. Lagos is the 5th largest economy in Africa. 28 million people. It cannot be used as an experiment.
There's also the indigenship issue, rollicking the whole battle for Lagos. And there have been a lot of information about the Labour Party contestant. Some people say that he hid his first name, Chinedu, and he started using Gbadebo. But he used it in 2019 when he was running for a lower office, and probably because he felt that it was going to inspire some form of enthusiasm, ethnic enthusiasm that time. Speak to this ethnic issue between the Yorubas and the Igbos in Lagos and how this presidency is going on. This is not the first time this is happening. This thing was very, very tough during the 2015, the one that brought Ambode in. It was very tough when the candidate, forgotten his name now, who ran, Jimmy Agbaje, was virtually promising that he was going to give them a king in Lagos, and it made the Yorubas to band together, and this man used the language of the Atlantic Ocean, the Oba of Lagos, and it seemed to have rallied the indigenous. This thing has been going on for. Speak to how that tension has now come to become a narrative that even trying to claim that Lagos does not belong to the Yorubas.
I would take it far back. It started in 1958. You are much older than me. And
if I to go historically, it's before 1958.
Okay.
Days long to the days of the NYM, when people were holding machetes. They are trying to go. It was war in Lagos. It also goes to the time of Zik. When Zik won a house here, and he wanted to be, he
that was
wanted
in 1958.
Yes, he wanted to be, he wanted to be, what do you call it? The premier
of Western
region.
While
yes.
appointed Okpara.
Yes. And then later, even during the 1964 elections, when there was a stalemate. There was a stalemate in which the Zik. I will ask Zik, come, be prime minister. I want to be your finance minister. I work under you. But Zik said, okay, I've heard you. But rather, he went to make an agreement with MPC. He made the Bafara prime minister, and he took a position that was meaningless, almost meaningless, just ceremonial, just the receiving tea and receiving guests and so on and so forth, instead of him to be the man in charge. And the people have said, why would you go and take a subordinate position because instead of you to be in charge? Is it because you hate the Yoruba man so much? And so on. So this kind of bad blood has been going on. And Lagos, it has now come to take a temperature of supremacy.
I do not agree.
Of ownership in Lagos.
No, this is the situation. One, I'm really saddened that this generation, the younger generations of Nigeria that we have no clue about history. And without you knowing where you're coming from, it's going to be difficult for you to know where you're going to.
Exactly.
So, talking about indigenousship in Lagos, I will make reference to when the honorable member, the Prime Minister of United Kingdom, came in, Rishi Sunak. Right, Rishi Sunak came on as the new Prime Minister. Now, Sky News went back into the interior of England to interview people. And I remember vividly, virtually everybody saying they didn't elect him. It was the party. They have to have
it was appointed by his party.
They have to have a general election.
Yes.
Right? So, coming back to Lagos, we don't have a nation. Someone cannot keep his own and come and share my own. That is what is happening. Even without Labour, let's put Labour Party aside. Before Labour Party, the people of Lagos, the indigenous settlers of Lagos State have been saying they've not been allowed to be the governor. Now Labour Party now came, which now polarized the whole situation. And this, if you look at the 2011 presidential election, when current President, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari lost, a lot of people died. Young folks died up north.
Yes.
Because what my Southeasterners are saying now, because you have the vote in the Southeast, doesn't necessarily mean you've won the global election, that the global election was rigged. Same thing when I was much younger too, in the days of the Awolowo. Because we have the votes in the Southwest, we all believe that, they rigged the election, until when we start to have a nation where, I love the first national anthem, Nigeria we hail thee, though tribe and tongue
we differ.
In brotherhood
we stand.
And I pray, President-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu can refer to that, because that is deep. And when you listen to the national anthem, that national anthem, it gives you goose pimples. We can't say because
we didn't have the goose pimples because we're singing it when we went to civil war.
So we have to find a way around all this brouhaha, because at the end of the day, it's just an election.
Yeah.
The following day, the sun will still come out, the rain will fall, and if you don't know whether you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you are Igbo, you are Hausa, you are Yoruba. And again, another thing is a personal opinion. I believe we have more Northerners in Lagos than the Easterners. I hope and pray this coming census will be done properly so we can even know the numbers of the people we have here. Because they don't talk, they are very conservative. An Igbo man will just marry one wife, they'll marry 4 or 5 wives. So, I mean, technically,
any banding of figures for me as a person, any banding of figures does not really always go well with me unless as a man with a scientific kind of mind, you give me data. Yes, I don't really go by it. Unless there is a surge. That's okay, there's a surge. Yes.
Yeah. For me, let me say something very radical here. I don't think we have a problem in Lagos. I don't think we have an ethnic problem in Lagos. Because these things always come out during election circles. So after election,
is that not a reflection that we are looking for a tipping point?
No.
No. Does it not mean that you are denying, you are lying?
It just means
if it is not there,
it just means that
to quote Wike, if it didn't there, it didn't there. If it wasn't there, why is it that it looks like every 4 years, all these women that they do so, are they look now? When the time can't reach, I go show now. That is what is.
Let me say 2 things.
No, I don't think I agree with that.
No, let me say 2 things.
But go ahead.
2 things. You see, people just get mischievous every 4 years. Do you get? I know, because we've not been able to answer that question with a negotiation.
That's right.
So because that thing is there, do you get? So every 4 years, people who gone for political power get mischievous and trigger that thing. Now, because at the end of the day, you find out that there's coexistence. Apart from maybe 1 or 2 small things that happen in Oshodi and my 2 and all that, you get me? There's coexistence. If you go to my 2, if you go to my 12, you go to Korodu, you go to Igbo. Igbo man is selling his spare parts in peace with the average Yoruba man. And there's coexistence. They are marrying each other. Yes. They are marrying each other. They're having children, like this children you're talking about now. There's coexistence. The North now is coexisting in Sabo with Yoruba man, with the Igbo man. Now, the problem is these politicians on all sides who now come and take advantage of this question that we refuse to answer to do all of that. All let's go through this that.
If it wasn't there, well, that's why I say if it didn't if it wasn't there, would they be able to exploit it?
Even in England, you can just call England now. Even in New York, it is there. It's there. It is a world global problem. It's just how you handle it. Even in New York, when you go to New York, people say, Latinos can't win. You can leave it together. But they scream against Latinos, they scream against blacks in New York, same thing in UK. So it's okay. Lagos is a cosmopolitan. Lagos is a global city. We must reflect global challenges.
The discrimination in New York is real.
Good. But the
racism in New York is real.
Good.
The class divide in New York is real.
Good.
People live. Hold on. No. What I'm saying that people live with those. Yes. People live with those tensions.
Is discrimination in Lagos real?
Eh?
Is discrimination in Lagos real?
No, it's not.
God bless you. Can an Igbo man buy a house in Banana Island?
Yes.
God
bless you. Can a Hausa man buy land in Ikeja?
Yes, he can.
God bless you. Now, is there fluidity in social classes in Lagos?
No, there's
fluidity. I'm Calabar man. I'm from Akwa Ibom. I'm from Akwa Ibom. I've lived in Shomolu for 49 years.
That's why they get me a Duke.
So I can walk into government and get business. Nobody's coming against me.
That's right.
We're
trying to round off.
Okay,
the point I'm making is that
I'm sorry,
if people can live together and they can buy things from each other, and then you buy things from them. Excuse me, they buy things from you, finish, and you say, can you
have Igbo wife
this thing is fake? Can you imagine when did you buy it? Is it not from those people? They will say it, but the thing is there in the mind. So the tension that exists, is usually quiet, and you only see it when one group is together. No. When one group is together and the other group is not together. And unless we want to be hypocrites, this thing happens every day. You live together, but you don't love as much as you should. You don't meet together. You go to churches. You sing different songs. You sing different songs. When they sing my native song, then your voice is loudest. When they sing other song, your voice is lowest, and so on. We leave all that in Lagos. Let's not pretend that this tension is not there. The tension is there. We have to deal with it.
Yes.
Anyway, we have to We have to go now.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Can I say one more thing, sir?
I know we don't have much time. But
Just 30 seconds.
30 seconds, okay.
Yes, 30 seconds. Viewers, I want you to vote Mr. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu for second time, for him to finish all the good work he started with Dr. Kadiri Obafemi.
Aduratigbe. Thank you very much, guests, for coming in. The Duke. I want to see where's the Duke. I don't know how Duke and Nigeria have anything together. Because we have dukedom here in Nigeria. And Shomolu, the list of places to have a dukedom. Thank you very much for coming. I like all your. I have a copy of this already, and beautiful work. I attended the
exhibition.
The exhibition.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.